Hello guys. I barely even got to start my stream until my queue popped. This shit insta-popped. Why was it so fast? No, I was gonna chill with the queue game a little bit. But no. No, you shall not, it said. Haven't even tweeted out that I'm streaming. I think I'll do a Kali game.
Select your god.
I haven't really gotten to try it much myself. I just need to figure out what I want to build, because I don't think I want to do the usual double stacking that most people do on her from solo. I want to see if I can kind of build a bit hybrid and still make it work. I just haven't really thought about it. I mean, the obvious first item is gonna be Helm of Radiance, but aside from that, I'm not really sure. I also don't know what starter I wanna go with. Just gotta test a bit. Chuck's not gonna be an easy matchup though, assuming it's gonna be a non-aspect Chuck. Man, I also really want to play more not like aspect Chuck. I actually kind of miss that. I only got one game in recently, and it went pretty well too. It's still quite nice if you can get the items online. It just takes so long now. And no one really plays Chuck at this point. He's not really that good at the moment. It makes sense, but he's still... It's weird. I still think he is good. At least for something like ranked. It's probably not going to be great in competitive stuff. They just have an annoying comp to deal with, to be honest. They have a lot of CC in their comp, but Ra and Rama at least should be pretty easy for me to just stick to. Or go on. Frontline wise is really annoying, but backline wise it's just fine. I needed to stop frame dropping so much. Just loading assets, I'm guessing, while I'm also loading in Smite. Right. So... probably beat situation here. Into the bot's Chuck. Bacchus. And do I start with gem, or do I just go straight into... do I just go chalice? I think I start aggressive. Not that I think I can do much in lane here, into Chuck. but I don't know him. It is
Hello.
aspect check. That definitely makes it easier for me.
How you sent us 19.
Gamehunter is a pro player, no?
Who?
Gamehunter.
I think that guy is saying my name, but he's so quiet
I
I can
dunno.
barely hear him.
Maybe.
Have spawned.
Maybe it's Mike 1.
Hi, Game Hunter. Hello to his friends.
Hello.
How are you?
Tired?
Being gaming all night? Or just woken up?
No, I just haven't done anything today.
My guy. Oh, there's put a ward here, by the way, Capri. Coming into lane. Yep.
Well, Thor kind of yoinked my my buff here. Yeah, I
Yeah,
kind
let's
of
clear
need the
wave
buff
first.
though, Thor. But it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Gonna hit. They're gonna hit. I'm out. Sorry, nice show. Oh, too late. Do you want to contest?
No blue buff for me, but I think I'll be alright as Kali anyway.
I got it. Let's get out. Get out. Nice. Kick.
Your middle tower is under attack. Double kill. An enemy has been slain.
Not a great start round mid, but hopefully we can pick up.
Your middle tower is under attack. Enemy middle.
Back left.
Good start for me though. I didn't expect to him just give up the lane as he is at the moment. I will have the better late than he does. Or the easier one anyway.
Nice. Nice grab.
Enemy missing middle.
I got no mana.
Cancel that.
I mean, his name is AFK, so
I'm gonna stay here
I
until
don't
get
know if
money.
this
Yeah.
is just what he does. Maybe he usually just AFKs in lane.
I was texting. My bad.
An enemy has been slain.
Kinda sucks I didn't get that kill, but
Take this jungle buff.
Purple's up.
He focus battle. If he jump.
I can't hear you. Quite a bit quiet. I'm
yeah,
doing,
you're
like,
very
jump.
quiet. I can barely hear you at all.
Yeah. You turn it up. Put it this way. Yeah, they're gonna contest this. I can see it. Yes, they're coming. Put it this way. Nice. I've got ult. Yeah, they're missing.
Enemy missing left.
An enemy has been slain.
Nice one, Agni.
Left tower is under attack.
They're probably going to speed up purple.
Tower is under attack.
fuck. Back us ult down. I'm gonna keep.
Enemy missing right.
Your middle tower is under attack. That's too bad.
Let's bank for this.
Hi. Okay.
I saw Nika try Soul Gym as well. I want to try that, see how it feels.
They
I
go
just need to
back
figure out
lefts.
what I want to do next.
Your left tower is under attack.
They're missing at it, by the way, guys.
Enemy missing left. Be careful.
Bad.
Kinda missed the last one.
Rama back to his. Bacchus is here. Rama's here. I can't contest. I'm low man. I've got ult. They're here. They're going here. That's his jump down.
Interesting. He really panics. I don't think he... I don't know, maybe he just doesn't know what to do with this version of Kali yet.
Oh
seems
my
really
god.
afraid.
No man.
That's in mid. That's in mid.
An ally has been slain.
Oh.
An ally has been slain. Your left tower is under attack. Double kill. Killing spree.
Okay.
Your left tower is under attack. The enemy team has destroyed the gold. Your right tower is under attack.
Can't get him. Wanted to try.
Your left tower is under attack. Your left tower is under attack.
Enemy missing.
Enemy missing middle.
Oh, I was about to say, there's no way you missed everything there, buddy.
They fought.
Did not think his ult was gonna be back up. I don't know why I thought it's still down. It had been a while since he used it. Because the thing, yeah, he used beats before, that's why I got confused. He didn't actually ult. Is this a rotation?
Has been slain.
Don't think so, I'm gonna lose too much XP if I do.
Has been slain. Your middle tower is under attack.
I'm coming.
Completed.
I mean, I've got ult.
Your left tower is under attack. Killing spree. Your middle tower is under attack. Double kill. Your left tower is under attack.
He's so afraid. I can fight him because he just insta ults if I go on him, but I mean maybe I just need to be more aggressive.
Your left tower
Maybe that's the play, because he actually
He's
just
taking it, man.
ults me if I try jumping. That's kind of wild. Guess I'll just go on him, see what happens.
An enemy has been slain.
Right now, though, I
Yo,
don't think he will
Thor, man, that was nice. Part. Oh, fuck.
He will outdamage me
coming,
though,
Captain.
I think, if I try to fight him. Or rather, if I just let him poke me. I need to be careful about that.
Your left tower has been destroyed.
Unlucky.
And I really don't want bots to come by either. That's the other problem. He's the one that's really gonna shit on me.
Be careful middle.
An ally has been slain.
I mean, in a way, I'm still just getting fed, because
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
getting all the permanent buffs here.
Never forget.
Your middle tower is under attack. The pyro.
Rama is here.
Shit, I'm coming.
Your right tower. Your middle tower. Rampage.
Enemies in right lane.
Okay.
Dude, why the fuck is Rama here, man? That's the weirdest fucking rotation I might have ever seen. That's so weird. I also didn't expect Rama or
Should we
Rama
get gold
to be
whilst
fair.
there?
An enemy has been slain. The enemy team has destroyed the pyramid. Your middle tower is under attack.
Not that Ra did anything to me anyway, but he disrupted our, well, everyone else in the back. I thought we could just get a quick kill on the Bacchus. But oh well. Alas, it was not to be. Now I'm in a good spot. Both builders leveled up. But I've never seen a Chaac more passive than this guy in my entire life. I would like to fight. He literally just isn't doing it. He's playing like a noob. If my ult just lasted a little bit longer.
Oh shit, I'm coming. Be careful, Rama's mid.
Enemy missing. Be careful.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
I'm coming. Rama's missing. Be careful middle.
Be careful middle. Enemy missing. Attack the gold fury. I'll defend right lane.
I'm really trying to get some heals too. Trying to
We
get
need
fed.
help here.
Tower is under
Oh, they're warded. They're warded. They're warded.
tower is under attack.
Get out, get out, get out.
Double kill. Unstoppable.
Rama is unstoppable of all people.
Your left tower is under attack.
They're gonna go gold.
Enemies at the gold fury.
An ally has been slain. The pyromancer has arrived. The enemy
Nice.
Killing spree.
Nice.
Deicide.
Yeah, you do fight. Nice.
Attack the fire giant.
Be careful, hunt bats. He'll be up soon. Is he mid? Okay.
Has destroyed the pyromancer.
Oops. The cooldown is what I really want.
Ram is it.
Enemy
my
missing
way.
right.
I've got ult. You dive in. Well played, Form. Beautiful. 14, beautiful. Ah, don't be sorry. It's cool.
Enemy missing right.
I need help in mid.
Just grab an early rod here, I think.
I can't. I'm gonna push left. I'm low.
Bad.
Is he coming left?
Yes.
Okay. Bro, Santoni, I can't hear you, man. It's so low. So quiet. You might have to increase the volume.
Enemy missing right.
Your microphone's too low.
I'm surprised bots hasn't ganked me a single time.
Yeah, we need some wards on board here. I don't fire. Nope.
Maybe better now?
Yeah, that's better. That's better. Slightly bit more higher, and it'd be good.
More?
Just a bit more. Just slightly bit more. They're roaming in our back camp. They're coming mid.
Now better?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Nice. I'm here.
Enemy spotted.
Coming back somewhere down here. He's jumped. I'm in mid.
Oh, he's 1 HP. That's so
Your
unfortunate.
left tower is under attack. That's too bad.
Rama's going left.
Down.
A fair choice. I'll gank left lane.
Your left tower has been destroyed.
Dash you down.
Enemy spotted.
Oh, I got
Enemy
left.
spotted.
He's dash you down. Towards you.
Enemy spotted. Your middle tower is under attack.
No.
Rampage.
Gold?
The gold fury.
Yeah.
Go straight to Pyro after this.
Yeah.
Is under attack. An ally has been slain. Your team has
Pyro.
destroyed the gold
I'm
fury.
coming. Follow those cups. Is he somewhere in the grass? B's down. B. I'm low. Right behind. Sorry for kill steal.
We're still
What's
get
the deal
Pyro
with this
fast.
guy? Yeah. Someone has to.
Acne, can you tank this? I'll defend.
Yeah, defend. Behind. Beats down, beats. Nice. Well played, boys. Gonna get some wards for fire.
Hello,
Get
Zone.
their farm. Push.
Yeah, sorry about really talking too much here. I'm actually just kind of focused on this game, trying to learn
Hans is in the middle.
Kali things.
Enemy missing right.
I think I'll try out Nibble Ring here as well. I feel like the attack speed could help so much just to stack up the 3 a bit easier if I miss the
From
jump.
mid. Maybe get Naga. Oh shit. We need to start grouping, boys.
Three right.
I'm here. Oh, Ram's here. I'm falling back. Hun's ult down. His beats down as well.
Let's kill Bacchus here.
Chuck, chuck.
He is dead.
He's low. Nice. Hun's is red. Nice.
Let's do fire here. I'll defend.
Ram's got ult still. Just an FYI.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Ram is in. Oh my god, he just fucking beats it down.
Your left is under attack. An ally has been slain. Double kill.
Wait, my ult went off and I still died? What the fuck just happened?
Yeah, that was weird.
Your team has destroyed the fire giant.
What the fuck, man? Alright, if someone can clip that real fast for me, just in case. I think it was because Bacchus had anti-healing. I don't know why. Maybe that stopped it somehow, but I definitely should not have died there. Like, you can even tell my ult went on cooldown. That's kind of fucked, man.
Your right tower is under attack.
I guess next up I'll do Totem for some pen. And just a bit more cooldown. I don't really think this build is that good, actually. I feel like I kind of fucked it up. I mean, it'll still do the job, just because Akali is yeah, powerful
Never forget.
damage output right now.
I'm coming. I've got ult. I'm going.
Nibble Wing Ring is gonna help me. Nibble Wing. Oh, lag. Go away. Thank you. Let's see if I can yoink Ra here.
An enemy has been
Right.
slain.
Gold. Oh, we need help,
One
Carl.
way coming, one way.
Middle tower is under attack.
Hello.
Okay.
Bathe in glory. Your team
Ronald.
has destroyed a left enemy tower.
Need a bit of help here to secure it. Got it.
Your team
Nice.
has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Be right back.
Been slacking on wards. Feel like our vision has been absolute ass this whole game. I'm gonna see if I can help out a bit on that on that part. Sad I didn't get Chuck, but just couldn't really let Rama just free cast on me. I can also premature ult it because I only use it for the knockup immunity, but that's probably not why what I should be using it for, realistically. Just it's so tempting because Chuck is so
Now they're
easy to
coming,
kill.
Steven.
Set up an ambush here.
Yes. Middle lane.
Should we go Pyro?
Push tower, so we have the debuff. We can get Pyro once we have a Phoenix. How long do you guys have fire?
How long for what?
How long do you have fire?
Attack.
I don't have fire.
Yeah, but the people that do have fire.
Oh.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
The hell just
They're
running
coming
away
to you,
from
Thor.
me.
Just care. 100 butts behind.
I'm on my way to you.
Let's get out. 100 butts in backline.
You have slain an enemy.
Protect me into the next life.
Double kill. Killing spree. That's too bad.
Just set up for fire now. We need a bunch of wards. Rama's down for
I've
so
got,
long.
I've got sent. Yeah, I've got sentry and an award. I'll sentry fire.
I'm gonna push up left a bit more. Just see if we can get some wards
Yeah,
before Rama spawns.
You do your thing.
Want to get some buffs as well.
Got a sentry and a ward up. Yeah, there's 4 here. They're sent up.
I'll TP over. We can look for a fight. Just wait for me.
Ra ult down. Rama ult down. They're here. Backs by himself. Carly's coming, guys.
Falling back.
Back his jump down. Oh.
It's not yet.
Fire should be free, I'll just defend.
Your right tower is under attack.
Dagger's coming up. Come on. Push right. Mid. Can we tank right? Okay, please.
Yeah, go for it.
Healing.
Oops. I've got dagger. I can sacrifice myself.
Nah, just save it. We
Alright.
don't need to take any risks for it. Just push your 2 towers safely, get them for free.
Banded. Oh, fucking hell, well.
Destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Go left gold.
Left tower.
We can actually get
Yeah,
mid Phoenix here, get mid.
Yeah, gold.
Oh, my dagger! My dagger didn't go off.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a left enemy tower.
Try to see if we can just get 1 Phoenix. Otherwise this is gonna be a bit cooked for us.
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy phoenix. Killing spree.
I played that a bit bad. I got greedy. I also didn't realize I was still tanking the Phoenix. I don't know why I was, when everyone else was still in. But whatever.
Silence these trespassers.
An ally has been slain.
Should we get gold?
Yeah, Capri, just go to gold and get it for free before they get there. Hello, Nectura. Is it long time no see? I feel like you were here a few days ago, weren't you? It's true though. You're not here enough anymore. Which is fair, I get it. We move on sometimes.
Your team has destroyed the gold fuel.
Pyro?
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah, it's the game, I get it. Don't worry about it. I'm also streaming today for one reason.
Check.
And while I do enjoy the game, I feel like I am a bit bored of on like
pull
what I
down
can
on.
play. Kali's
You
nice
can
though, I
focus
enjoy
on.
this Kali. More than the other one anyway.
Your team has destroyed the fire.
Nice. Come on.
Your team has destroyed a left enemy phoenix. An enemy has been slain.
GG guys. I played everyone.
Good game.
As I was about to say, there are a lot of games coming out, and Oblivion just came out yesterday. I want to play that. I already played a bit of it now, because I never got around to play it when it came out originally. And well, Expedition 33 comes out tomorrow, and I really, really want to play that. So I wanted to get a stream in before all these huge, gigantic games come out that I would rather spend my time with at the moment. Well, Smite is kind of on a downer while I'm waiting for some more interesting stuff to come out. So I'm not saying I won't be playing Smite, but I will definitely be playing less Smite for like at least for the next few days, I would imagine. So there probably won't be as much streaming as well. I'll still play some Smite off stream here and there just to keep myself warm, but I wanted to make sure that I got a stream in. Like, I'm not trying to force myself to stream either. I will only stream when I actually feel like streaming. So I felt like doing it today. Whether like it might be short, but I wanted to get it in at least. Do my usual 2 or 3 hours before I sit down and continue some more interesting games at the moment. Hello, Achilles. And I will absolutely not rejoin WoW. Dude, I think my WoW days are over, but every time I say that, I return like a year later, so we'll see. But for now, it is over. To stream these other games, but I'm just not much of a streamer in the first place. Like, I'm only streaming Smite because people know me in Smite. I don't really care much for streaming in general. It's not a job for me, it's just a hobby. And I like just gaming on my own. Like, especially when it's RPGs. If it's big RPGs that like where I need to immerse myself, I generally just prefer playing those completely by myself without any interruptions. Because otherwise it's hard for me to immerse myself into them. Like Oblivion, I would never stream a game like that. And while I kind of tried, like I streamed the Elden Ring DLC when it came out. One thing is, you know, generally my viewers are here for Smite. Maybe that's going to maybe 203 that's going to stick around here and there to maybe watch me play something else. But on a general basis, I'm sitting playing them by myself anyway. When I stream this like something different. Like I'm not a huge streamer, you know, even in Smite. So for the most part, people will just, you know, go away, watch another Smite stream until I come back and play Smite again. Then maybe they'll watch me again. Which is fair, like I completely get that. It's just I don't have much interest in variety streaming, I suppose. Like I don't really get any money out of streaming. Well, very little, I should say, because Twitch's weird system about it. Like, it needs to hit like a certain threshold for me to get anything. And sometimes that takes like 6 months. So it's not like I make like money on a monthly basis streaming. I'm just purely doing it because I enjoy playing Smite and I enjoy talking to people while I play Smite. Just give me an idea for a startup. Go for it, man. Considering how fit I got this game, I feel like I don't know if I felt like dude, I've been winning a lot lately actually. Ranked conquest, dude, I've been winning. But this game felt so passive. Like my whole laning phase was just Jock sitting in tower. I mean, he's living up to his name. That's for sure. He should have won this matchup early on. You are a streamer, yeah. I'm an old-time Smite player. And I am tired, still. Yeah, GG's. Checking your game now. I mean, he didn't seem like a bad player, to be fair. He just seemed like he didn't want to fight back at all. But I mean, maybe you can call that bad, but... It was interesting. Anyway, I guess I'll pull up the Q game. I don't know why I've been sitting here for 5 minutes looking at my screen. Gotta stay warm. Hey, thank you so much for the, wait, how many is that? 5? Damn. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Oh, is this gonna play 5 times? Surely not. Oh, it is. That's great. Maybe I should remove my sound effect on that. Some people won't even know that's Mercury talking. Because it doesn't exist in Smite 2 yet. Big luck, King me just stream. Yeah, no worries, man. I appreciate it. Have a nice game. That's funny though. I don't think I've had people refer to me as a streamer before, because that's not really what I've been doing. Oh my god, shut up, Mercury. Why are you still going? Dude, there's always been something wrong with my sound effects. Why are you still going? It's been more than 5. Shut up. Do I need to remove you? Oh my god. I'm sorry, guys. I think we might be stuck like this forever. Who are you talking to? I think I'm talking to Mercury, the sound effect that keeps going off, but I'm guessing you guys can hear that actually. That's so weird. I don't know why you guys can hear it, but my voice command for getting subs keeps going off. And it won't stop. That's what I'm talking to. But I sound like a lunatic, I guess, because if you guys can hear that, then I've been talking to you guys. Give me a second to see if I can stop it. I'm going crazy. It might be because my Streamlabs was just locked off. There we go. Now I just seemed like a crazy person.
Select your god.
I think I hit the big Q here as well. We'll see if I can play Kali into this. Well, I mean, probably not gonna go well into a Mordred, to be fair, of all things. Though I suppose it could have been slightly worse. At least Mordred hates building magical defense. That's the only good part. Like, his best items are physical defense items. Actually, never mind, I'm stupid. Kali probably still does physical damage, doesn't she? Damn it. Doing the Nibble Ring build. I've been trying a few different things. Like, I went Nibble Ring last game. But I'm generally going for kind of bit of a hybrid. Not really a hybrid. I'm going for Helmet Radiance. Because not having protection and Soul just feels so rough. Be a mage, man. I am being a mage, don't worry about it. I'm definitely going full magic. It's the only thing that works. Physical Kali is terrible. Don't you worry about that. I will do magic. It's just I'm trying to figure out what type of build I want to do with it. Because I don't want to just be... Like, the general build is going trans and Thoth. But, like, the double stacking, I feel like it's so ass in solo. Especially if you're into shit like Mordred. Like, how are you ever going to fight back if you're building this? You're not. That's the answer. Yeah, I think generally, like, Iculus, that build is the general one. Like, the one I saw April go with yesterday was Basically that build, but with a poly instead of an up shard. But yeah. Fatalis and Frostbound. Well, we don't have a Frostbound. The closest we get in this game is Pharaoh's. Is it Pharaoh's Curse? Whatever, like the ability that slows instead. We don't really have anything else. Who am I against? Christ? Guess so. Dude, I've never had a hype train going by before. What is this? Open. I got an emote. Great. Cool. Is this the guy people been discussing for cheats? I do not know. I didn't know that was a thing. Like how? Just walling or what? Do we know specifics? I can try and keep an eye on it. Suppose we'll see.
My god.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, man. You alive?
Yeah.
That's a W in my book.
Where are you at now
I'm
in
gonna show you.
SR, Dutch?
What?
How much SR do you have?
5.2 after being stuck at like 4.5 for about 2 months, I think. But I barely played.
Yeah,
so
thank you, Nectarum. I forgot my
I'm
OBS
on a
wasn't
grind now.
on my screen, so I didn't see it. Yeah, I see you've been slacking lately, man.
Yeah, I know. I have 2 weeks off now, so.
Yeah, I don't know about the blue arrows and the keys, but whatever. I mean, it literally doesn't make a difference. If it helps the lowest of players, sure. I think it's a great change.
Keep smiling.
It's from the God Builder? Oh, it's like a recommended from the God Builder, I see. I mean, that's kind of cool. It's a bit annoying when you didn't ask for it, you know? But, I mean, overall, I do think it is a good thing for the new players. I might have been too late. Nope, I was exactly on time. They could have been players anyway. I mean, they gotta try, you know? I understand the mindset. You can't just ignore it. Because then that's when we are officially cooked, you know?
My bad, bro. I didn't know he was like that
Wait, my build
idiotic.
locked, I think. I still have it somehow.
It's kind of crazy he dashed into us though. I didn't expect it.
Damn. Actually might have a kill potential if I just hit my 2 there. That sucks.
He dashed his.
Damn. I just blew this kill a few times. It really sucks.
Oh my god, he really good.
That was very smooth.
Nice job, bro.
That's his shell.
Hold on. Even warrior stacks as well. Weird.
An enemy has been slain.
Expect the dash. What am I doing, man?
On my way. Your middle tower is under attack.
Cannot escape me. Come and get me. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Slain an enemy. You've got more spirit than a vintage horse.
Killed it. Out of here.
Nice on oracles, fine. You can take this, IFS.
Thanks.
No
They fought well.
If I had mana, I'd actually go for the kill, but just not enough mana to really fight back there. I was hoping I could do a bit more damage.
Your right tower is under attack.
Completed. Enemy ultimate down.
Your left tower is under attack.
Enemy behind us. Careful right. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. My blade. Come and get me. Cannot escape me.
You have been slain.
Like, why is the mid laner here, man? What is happening? That is absolutely nasty. And I couldn't jump over the wall, so I was just cooked. Bad pathing for me as well. But I also didn't expect a gank there. That's just weird. It really is.
Completed.
Once again, from the mid of all things. But he rotated and didn't get a kill, so ultimately probably might still be worth. Maybe.
Your right tower is under attack. An ally has been slain.
Enemy missing right. Save yourself.
An ally has been slain. Double kill. Killing spree. On my way. Sorry.
I think the embarrassment might too. Who knows, man? I don't know. I mean, my guess is obviously no, but
Killing spree.
Beats all of them.
Under attack.
I'm just gonna farm my ball.
I'm on it.
just healed so much. Crazy. I was looking at Dutch's HP on that Hades. Huge heal.
Enemy missing right.
Double kill. Your right tower is under attack.
Thanks.
That was way too close. We definitely fucked that one up. For some reason my mind just went to, I'm not gonna get ulted if I ult. Not the case. Knock-up immunity does not translate to getting, or to being immune to Mordred ult. Don't think I would have died even if you caught me there, but... I'll do an early nibble ring. I want to see how this feels, but I'm going to be so low on power. I think that's the only problem with me doing this. Because this is a pretty low power build.
Your middle tower is under attack. Your left tower is under attack. Your team is
I mean, it's a low power build, but I guess it doesn't matter. Because Kali just does a million damage.
ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
On my way.
On my way.
She is very vocal with her autos, but, you know, she's always been. Changing it would be weird now.
Has arrived.
You see how everyone thought it was weird that they changed the voice on the Susano, like, robotic skin? Because that's weird. Like, why are you changing something that's been the same for so long? Like, at this point, people are just used to it being that way. We shouldn't change it.
Gank left lane.
Your team has destroyed a left. Your team has destroyed the Gold Fury. Your right tower is under attack. An ally has been
I want to play the game. I'm not sure that's what's gonna make them change their mind, buddy.
left lane. On my way. Double kill.
Regrettable.
That's too bad.
Nah, she just beats. I don't know why she didn't ult though.
An enemy has been slain. Shut down. Have
Yes. Aw, don't be sad.
Your left tower is under attack. Attack.
There's not much for me to take here. I should just rotate.
Your middle tower is under attack.
On my way.
An Your middle tower is under attack.
I'll yoink that real fast. Thank you very much.
On my way.
Right, what is he building? Oh, dude, he's so squishy to me. Why does he have devours?
On my way.
I mean, I'm not complaining, but
Enemy missing right.
An enemy has been slain.
Amazing.
he's just dead, isn't he? Oh, nope, that's huge.
An ally has been slain. Slain an enemy.
My apologies.
Your left tower is under attack. Your left tower has been destroyed. Shut down.
Like, I'm level 17. I should probably just go and deal with Artemis. Why? I don't know why. It just muscle memory me doing that.
Enemy ultimate down.
Defend middle lane. I'm going for jungle buff.
Shut down.
Enemies behind us.
Fucking hell, man.
An enemy has been
Just the
slain.
cavalry.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Nemesis, Mordred, Gap, no ults.
Double kill. Finally.
And there we go. Let's kill the tank Kali. Although I'm not really tanky anymore. Well, maybe tanky actually. Helm of Rain
big
is
for you,
nice
no?
against their comp.
Okay.
You can try, but you don't have an actual ADC for this.
I think we've done this pretty quick actually. Of Polly.
This Artemis is trying to split. I think I just defend left.
Yeah, I don't think they're expecting
Is
this
Nem-
at all.
Yeah, if
She
Nemesis
was in
comes,
mid.
we just kill him. I can silence her.
I'm coming left here as well, if you can keep her there.
Your team has destroyed the fire giant.
Nim is here too. We still just go for Artemis.
Under attack.
Oh, that sucks. Fucking Gep just showed up. Oh, that's so annoying. Something silenced me. Does Gep have some? No, I couldn't use my my 2. Something literally stopped me from using my 2, and I don't know what it was. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that should have been able to do that. That's awkward. Should have been really good for us.
An enemy has been slain.
I think that's more on me than it was on the Wheelix there.
Enemy spotted.
Oh well.
Ultimate is ready.
I missed my 3 on Artemis as well. That was the the worst part that I did not fight.
Be careful, middle.
Because if I hit that, she dies, and I might get a big enough heal to potentially live as well. Oh, there's an Aladdin.
An enemy has been slain.
Oh, I should be dead.
Enemies incoming left. Killing spree. Gank.
Retreat.
I'll start on Becky. They're still out. It's gonna roll on me. I have ult in 10. Aladdin is op as well. Oh, Aladdin's there. Can we help Neve? Neve, come to me, bro.
Nemesis behind us,
Aladdin
guys.
behind you. Yeah, man, I'm gonna help Neve.
Nemesis just dashed behind us,
She's
guys.
dead.
She just dashed.
Nemesis doesn't have beats, I think.
He just
Oh,
beats.
she has beats.
An ally has been slain.
We can fight this, I have ult. I'm coming into lamp. That's Aladdin like dashes. I still blood bomb book. Aladdin is coming as well.
Yeah, I'll just back.
Let's get out. Yeah, Aladdin wasted his wish.
Attack fire giant.
Chuck was harassing Troll the entire game, yeah. Just report him and hope that high risk does their thing then. That sucks. It's weird. I don't get why people are like that, because he doesn't seem that bad mechanically. I don't know why he's wasting his own time doing that stuff. But it's not really worth giving him the attention for it. Just report and move on.
I feel like start with the ult, you know. I one-shot him. Gap is like 70%.
Your right tower is under attack.
It's Aladdin ult. Aladdin's dead.
Artemis ult
I'm
down.
going to right. I have blood bomb book. We can fight this.
I still have my ult as well, I can bait.
Yeah, Willix has ult.
They're in the bush.
I could just hard go in now.
Artemis has no ult, just go for her.
I'm going behind them.
Okay.
I don't have ult. Split fight. that's good. I have ult in 10. We can fight this. Aladdin is coming.
Damn, Dutch, why did you do that before?
Nice one, nice one.
Yeah, ult is down, man.
Alright, Natura. Have a nice one, man.
Let's do Fire Giant.
Damn, that's unfortunate. My ult was dropped pretty soon as well. 60 seconds cooldown. Yeah. I do think I'm just bait half of these fights. Gip is coming in.
I have silence for him if he comes.
He doesn't have Sunder.
Your team has destroyed the fire giant.
I need so little gold for full rod.
An enemy has been slain.
This god counters dagger so hard, it's actually funny.
The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Completed. That's too bad. Attack left blade.
Your team has destroyed the Pyromancer.
Be right.
Your team has destroyed a left enemy tower.
I suppose it won't hurt. Enemies in left lane.
If we get Artemis, that'll be huge.
I'll attack left lane.
Enemy missing left. Okay.
Random fucking traps, man.
You're a lunatic. Seriously, I'm the best.
Attack left lane.
Yes.
Maybe kill the gap now.
I'll beat this fight again.
Oh man. Yeah, we gotta look at Aladdin more. He has no ult for a bit.
Your right tower is under attack.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're gonna gap now?
Your right tower is under attack. An enemy has
It's
been
big.
slain.
Do you have something for him?
Nemesis spawning now, guys. Gotta get some pin. Oh, they're all so low.
slain. The pyromancer has
I don't have anything.
Sealed.
spirit than a vintage port.
Mortar's coming up.
Curse.
What the fuck is this arena game?
Keep smiling.
You can take that. Can do a pyro.
Your team has destroyed the pyromancer.
Ultimate is ready.
Attack fire giant.
Dude, this game is so weird and aggressive. We're just constantly fighting.
I'll defend left lane. Careful.
Your left tower is under attack. On my way.
Be careful, right. Gank right lane.
Does Aladdin use anything? Have to get out of mid. Focus. Kinda anything.
Used a bit more than I
Optimus
probably
no
had
ult,
to.
We're
Dude,
gonna.
I hate that you can just waste beats on Mortar ult. Like, just don't go off if it's too late, please, man. Now my beats are just down and I still got hit by the ult like an idiot. I hesitated.
Probably that.
That was his beats.
Optimus no ult. She's no ult.
Yep, still here.
Ally has been slain.
Like I was this close, boys. I backed off by the way. Cool. Aladdin is back as well. Careful. Nice. Can turn this if Aladdin comes. I have ult. This is a fire, I guess.
Yeah, just tank up fire, let's just do it. I bump. You can take it up, Buckles. Just full commit to fire.
Your left tower is under attack. The pyromancer has arrived. Your team has destroyed the fire giant. Your left tower is under attack. Your team has destroyed the pyromancer. Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
Back and forth 3k pot.
Retreat left lane, please.
I suppose it won't hurt.
Like don't die, man. Should have returned this.
Ally has been slain.
No, chase them.
Just chase.
It's just entered van Neve. That is funny.
Yeah, just push up left.
Enemies in right lane. I'll gank middle lane. Attack left lane. Defend right lane.
Your right tower is under attack.
There's someone back for it.
Your right tower
Relix.
has been destroyed. Your middle
Relix is
tower
back.
is under attack. An ally has been slain.
Nick.
I just backed this defend touch.
Your middle field is under attack.
Just chase the Artemis. I'm looking for her.
She's in lane. She's in left jungle.
Nemesis beats ult.
She's here somewhere. Enter. Oh, she's here. Nice. Relix can defend right.
I still have dagger for 40. Let's just go for the Phoenix. I can be baited
Yeah.
a bit.
Just wait for wave. Don't tank. She's chasing me, I guess.
I'll defend right lane. Be careful middle. I am ready.
This is bad, I think.
Yeah, we just get out now. It's too late.
I'm gonna heal over it. We can turn this after I heal. Just wait. I have ult.
They
We
stop
still have
chasing.
5 giant for 40.
Attack mid pyromancer has arrived. Help.
I'm going Nemir. Pretty sure I kill. That's our beats.
I got Artemis.
That's good shit.
Double kill. Your team has destroyed a middle enemy.
Just enter.
There's
He
none
doesn't
of
have wish, so. I think he does.
Just kill the Titan. Just kill the Titan.
Just kill it tight.
Well
GG.
done.
Exhilarating. Well done, everyone.
Victory.
It was a bit harder in the end than it really needed to be. I thought we were just generally in control of this game, but damn, did about the same. Yeah, GG's Achilles. Kali is definitely fun with this build. She is, but I cannot for the life of me figure out if I think she's broken or not. Like in ranked, sure, obviously, because it's much easier to run around and just one-shot people. But this build so heavily relies on getting those 5 autos. It's just, yeah. I don't know, maybe a good team would be able to make sure she doesn't get those as easily. I'm not too sure. I would probably say she is broken though. It's just so easy for her to one-shot. Dude, there's barely any time for my Q game today. After they fixed the Qs, there just isn't that much Q time anymore. The rings. Sure. And I need to ban as well now that I have such high MR or SR. Didn't get a Q. Damn. I mean, it might have just split the Qs then. Do I feel like playing Kali again though? I think I'm banning it this time. I don't want to play it again. I've done 2 Kali games now.
Select your god.
I don't know what I want to play now though, because I kind of thought I wanted to play Aladdin. Maybe I just go Mordred then. Definitely think I need to pick some kind of tank, because I think we have enough damage with these 3 gods. Actually, I could play Morrigan. Huh. Actually, maybe I should pick something physical. Shit. Damn it. Think, Mark. I need to pick something physical that is also fun. They picked Morrigan, well. I'll just pull out the Mordred. Just my go-to that I still enjoy playing. It's just kind of lucky that he's also as powerful as he is. Alright, that is 1. It's 2. Not enough speed. I'm not sure I've completed any of these challenges before, but at least this one is somewhat easy. I just always fucked it up anyway. Nice. Yeah, what am I against? It's gotta be... I don't know, I guess Morrigan or Aladdin. Either one. Probably Aladdin then. I see Dutch on my right side there. hope it's 11 anyway. Morrigan is actually something that could beat me in lane.
Have fun.
Delight in the madness.
Wait, they also have
Minions
bots.
have spawned.
No, bots has to be jungle then. Actually, I mean, I suppose it could be bots solo. I'm also the only physical that we have, so... Fuck, dude, I can't kill tanks. Maybe I go for a more damaging build, see how it goes. Ah, just missed the creep. Oh, it is Mario. Damn. Oh well. Not really worth, to be honest, but it is what it is, man. I had to try. He's got way more creeps than I did, though, so he actually has a huge XP lead. Like, what the fuck is this?
An ally has
I'm not even sure I'm gonna hit level 2. Yeah, fuck, man, I'm not even level 3.
Silence these as shame. Slow end.
Be careful if it's
Not fun me.
Your right tower is under attack.
Yeah, this really sucks. What a weird bots rotation. I guess I gotta chill a bit.
Your right tower is under attack.
Now I'm super far behind. Hello, Gami. He must have backed, he was so low.
Monitor your sound.
Quite literally a full level on me.
return to base.
Okay, at least I'm a better spot now. The fact that he beats is huge for me.
Double kill. Retreat from the jungle. I'll defend right lane.
Okay.
Your right tower is under attack. Door number 1.
Yeah, come on. I've been having some nice matches today, Kami. Actually, been playing Kali twice.
Your middle tower is under attack. Nice job.
Like, you've seen me play that a few times in casuals by now.
Delight in the madness.
It's definitely a fun god with the intelligence build.
Enemies in right lane.
Random man's block his rotation. Yeah, I guess I'll still do Mystical now. Gonna really be slowing my cooldown here. I'm probably gonna have to wait with Phoenix Shield overall and then have to go into a Pridwin right after Mystical. Could even do Pridwin now, actually. I'll wait. I think Mystical Mass is just too valuable early on. Yeah, I was never the biggest Kali player. I thought she was fun, but to me, like, I don't know, her playstyle was just kind of weird. It just wasn't really just for me, I suppose. Now she's actually like, kind of like an ability based.
You will never be free of us.
Like an ability based mage, I guess. Just a melee mage. She very much has the same playstyle as Maman. And I didn't really enjoy Maman all that much, but I also never really got to play her.
An enemy has been slain.
That sucks. Dude, why is there 5 people here, man? Why are they fucking on her here? What's with ADCs today rotating to fucking mid and solo? Fucking 7 minutes into the game. What are we doing, man? There's no way that's just ever worth it unless you get a double kill. And he got a double kill. Fuck, man. Oh well. He got what he wanted. Yeah, he did. Spawn timer is also just so low that even though I killed Morrigan right before I rotated, she just was there in the fight anyway, because she just respawned. Let's see if I can make it to the majority of this wave.
Your right tower is under attack.
Enemy missing red.
Still a pretty nice XP lead, at least, assuming Morrigan is still level 8.
Be right back. I'm on it. Be careful, middle. Enemy missing.
missing left. Enemy missing left.
I actually have been thinking about playing some more Morrigan again. It's been a long time, and I still really do enjoy Morrigan. And I don't think she's bad. Like, it's literally no one plays her anymore.
Centuries of waiting, I will not be denied.
Oh, how badly I wanted to dive, but I wanted to make sure, or see if I could just bait out his 3. Didn't really work out successfully.
Enemy missing right.
I'll attack right lane.
Fill your soul.
I'll defend middle lane. Enemies incoming left. Killing spree.
You will never.
I would have you murdered by my
An ally has been slain.
I'll push your way a bit more, actually. Might as well. Morrigan is kind of frowned upon a bit, I feel like, in the current state of Smite. Because she just has the potential to always be the best god in the game. But, like, I don't think she's bad at the moment. It is kind of hard for a god that can turn into literally anyone. Like, it's hard for a god like us to be bad. And right now, mages are fine. I do think she's gonna struggle more in mid than she would anywhere else. Or, like, rather than solo. Because solo can still just build her as tank. I think in support you can still just build her as tank. She has that potential. No, he's back again. He's back again.
I'll take left lane on my way.
No problem.
Enemies in right lane.
An enemy has been slain. Nice job.
Unexpected bots stopping my fucking TP there. Bots TP'd left, guys. With Morrigan.
An enemy has been slain. Double kill. Killing spree. Attack the gold fury.
That sucks, man. She was still here. Never mind, she was still here. I could should have 1000% thought she TP'd with him. Because why wouldn't you, man? There's literally a fight going on. Why would you not TP there?
Your team has destroyed the Gold Fury. Your right tower has been destroyed.
That's crazy. Do you get to have every wish each time you transform? I believe so, yes. So yes, you can farm gold with
Your
that.
right tower is under attack.
That is indeed the case. Obviously not the revival wish, because, you know, when you die you're no longer the god, but you can use the other two. Which is very, very, very good. They might have hotfixed it, at least that was the case when Aladdin came out and like people played Morrigan at the time. I would assume it to still be the case. From what I know, it should still be the same.
Be right back.
Oh, is that where he went? He went to take my blue and then he came back? Wouldn't explain why he came from where he did. I want this tower.
Enemy missing right. Cancel that.
Slain an enemy.
Get the tower! No, you dumb minions! Get the tower! Dude, him turning into Bari, at least it's not the worst he can turn into. Aladdin would be way worse for me to deal with. But Bari is definitely annoying in terms of survivability. Like when I dive him. It's tough. I still do generally think Aladdin is going to be way worse though to deal with. I cannot fight Aladdin. Bari is very easy for me to kill, it's just... Tower will fuck me up. When it's Bari. And I'm diving.
Slain an enemy. Be careful.
They will not get away. Not again.
Just brawling over here. Fucking playing versus two gods. Like, that's the main thing, right? Is when you're playing against Morrigan, it feels like you're dueling in 2v1. Because she will just use her full kit, turn into something else, use their full kit again. It's just... It's so hard to deal with, man. In a way, I'm surprised I'm even winning these skirmishes. Probably shouldn't even try to fight him anymore, because there's too much risk in it for me.
Middle enemy tower. The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
I will gradually just become worse compared to him in this game. Because he's just...
On my way.
I respect his try to just... I'm just going to try and back because I'm dead anyway. I actually for a second thought he was gonna do it too. It was close.
I'm on it.
But this is generally just a good Morgan game dodge, I think. There's just so much good shit for him to turn into.
Completed.
Behind us.
I'm on it.
Oh, I caught his dash.
Been slain. Triple kill. Shut down.
Unofficial Penta. Just ignored that whole fight. What a crazy team fight.
Your team has destroyed the Pyromancer. Your left tower is under attack. Your left tower is under attack. Your left tower has been destroyed.
Group up.
I'll attack. I'm on it.
On my way.
Be careful. Your team has destroyed the Gold Fury. I'll attack middle lane.
Still got him at least. He just fucking revives instantly.
Destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Big from Agni there. Just dies into Bari anyway. Dude, that huge shield.
Triple kill.
Damn. This would have been huge if I had Mental Discord inside that fight. I would have killed the lad and then I probably wouldn't have survived, but Still.
Destroy the middle enemy Phoenix.
Instead of her looking at items, but I mean, I think we're ending anyway. Or not.
Ally has been slain.
Completed.
How unexpected.
That's too bad.
Damn. That's not good that we actually didn't get that. We should have. There was still 20 like fucking seconds left on any carry. Ain't no way Bacchus is stopping it.
The Pyromancer has arrived. Your team has destroyed the Pyromancer. I'm on it. Group attack right lane.
Okay.
Ultimate is down. Curses.
Okay.
Completed. On my way.
Oh.
Ward the fire giant, group up.
Just grab some team beats now.
I'm on it. What's behind door number 1? Follow me. Triple kill. Unstoppable.
Completed.
Nice, nice.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Attack the Titan.
Got a little scary when they all surrounded me and right. I had a feeling. The second bots jumped over the wall, I knew that it was definitely going to be more than just him and the on-Harine lane. But man, I still ended up not beating the Aladdin ult, because I was thinking I could still maybe 1v1 him. And even if that's the case, I just forced bots out. And Aladdin is taking me in, meaning they're going to be one man down in that fight. So I was hoping my team was going to win that. Because that leaves what? Bacchus on her? Morrigan as well. That's definitely still a scary comp they could win with in a 3v4, but Just had to trust my team on that one. Damn it. Didn't think that was gonna hit me. The matches so far, they're pretty fun actually. I've had some fun today. It's just been good, like matches overall, like pretty. Well, maybe not the first one actually, but like generally the matches have been very even. Like it hasn't just been super stomps, so that's been nice. I'll do one or two more. Like it won't be the longest stream today, but I wanted to stream today because I know that. I'll say it again just in case the people missed it the first time, but as everyone probably knows at this point that is in the gaming world, Oblivion just had a remaster, which is pretty much just a fucking remake, come out yesterday. So that was a bit of a surprise, and I really want to play it, because I never got around to playing the original. So that's just perfect for me. But besides from that, Expedition 33 comes out tomorrow, which is another huge RPG, or JRPG really, inspired game, which I imagine will be pretty, time-consuming as well. So we'll see if I even feel like playing Smite the next few days at all. So I decided to, get a stream in real fast, or today before all that stuff comes out. How much SR do I have? I have like 6.3 or 4 at this point. I've been winning a lot, Nate. I've been winning every game. I'm on a gigantic winning streak. I have a lot. Keep winning then? Yeah, I just play for fun now. I'll play whatever the fuck I want, because it's not really any stress.
Select your god.
Like, I want to play Chuck, I think. I want to play the full, like, the damage aspect Chuck. Because that shit is so much fun, man. Kokolkin. Maybe I don't want to play Chuck anymore. I'll still play Chuck. Yeah, I mean, out of just Oblivion as well as Expedition 33, I'm obviously most excited for Expedition 33 as well, because it looks way more unique. Oblivion, I think, will just be a fun experience. Like, it's gonna have goofy dialogue, they're keeping all the, like, a lot of the charm that the original has. And I'm looking really forward to that. But in terms of, like, a new, really fun experience that I don't know what to expect from, is definitely Expedition 33. It just looks so fucking cool. The music sounds awesome from trailers and stuff, and just overall it looks like it's gonna be a really good game. So I hope it will be. For all I know, it could be absolute dog shit, but I haven't seen a single thing that I would say it looks bad from all the trailers they've shown.
Greetings.
Yeah, it feels like if Square made a new Final Fantasy that felt like the old ones, which is also perfect. Yeah, they said it's heavily inspired by Persona as well as the older Final Fantasy turn-based games. So I mean, that honestly just sounds fantastic to me. I was never a huge fan of like the pixel art and stuff, so I haven't played the majority of the older Final Fantasy games. But I adore like the Persona games. I love the older Persona games. So, well, I'll say all of them. I'm more of a new Persona fan. Like starting with 5, when that really blew up, I started playing them. I always played the new one, the remake of the third one.
Thanks. Okay. Sizzling showdown.
Wait, who against? Let's see. Kukulkan?
Minions
He's
have
not jungle though.
spawned.
No, play Persona, the high school drama a bit puts me off, but I like the Shin Megami Tensei. So yeah, I haven't played the Shin Megami Tensei series. There's also Metaphor ReFantasia, which came out last year. That was also great, for the same reason as Persona. But yeah, I understand people aren't into the school drama stuff. Like, it's not why I play it either, to be fair. I just like good storytelling, and those games generally have very good storytelling.
Your right tower is under attack.
Like, Persona 5 I thought was an incredible, like, entry for me to the Persona games, because I was just in love with that story. I was super invested. I'll wait, picking up blue, actually. It's gotta be a really boring lane into a tank Vulcan. Usually is.
Enemy missing. Okay.
Kuka TP'd.
Retreat. Your right tower is under attack.
Enemy.
Fuck it, I can't kill turrets in time, man! I hate this fucking Vulcan tank.
Your middle tower is under attack.
I gotta hit that shit, man.
Let's settle this with style. My style.
An enemy has been slain. Like a jaguar.
Do we need anti-healing here? Not really. I'll just serrate it then. Which fits me. I don't really like starting brawlers, even though it is very good with this build. Man, don't win too fast, team. I would like to actually get this late game. Otherwise, there's no fun in it. Otherwise, I just throw an axe that doesn't do any damage, and I'm squishy. It's the shittiest part of both of it.
Enemy missing. Enemy missing right.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's worth trying Persona. Like, if you really like the other games they make, I would say Persona is worth a shot. Especially if you really like Metaphor as well. Maybe I'm just biased because it was my first entry, but like I still think Persona 5 is the best of them. In terms of both storytelling and well, I guess gameplay is just honestly like about the same in all of them, but I think the archetype system is probably the best in terms of customization and combat in Metaphor, but I still just really enjoy all of it. It's just some real fun shit. Can't believe it. I got it.
An enemy has been slain. Your right tower is under attack.
Enemies incoming. Enemy missing middle. Oh, that's a blade.
Ultimate is down. Okay. Ultimate is down.
Slain an enemy.
I'm really trying to hold my ult. I mean, I would say like just try one. If you like them, you can always keep going. But I would generally say just like base P5. I haven't tried all the side games. If you mean like all the like action games and such, I don't really didn't do all those. They just seemed like extra stuff that they wanted to milk because Persona 5 was as popular as it was. I don't know that they're actually okay from what I've heard, but I don't know. They don't seem like they're necessary. Like, I just wanted the base experience at least. I will say though, I think Persona 5 has the most like it's also a thing, like, I don't really mind anime. Like, I watch anime here and there, but there's definitely some weird sides to anime that are a bit weird because of the culture and stuff, the cultural differences.
What a blunder.
Those, I would say, weird cliche anime tropes might happen a bit in Persona 5 more than the others. I think Persona 3 is the best in terms of, like, I guess feeling a bit nostalgic, because it's from, like, 20 years ago, basically. If I had to guess, like, critically, the third one has the best story. Personally, I was more into the fifth one, but 3 is really good too. You could try the remake of that. I would generally recommend those two. I can't recommend the others because I haven't played them.
I'll attack.
On my way. Hello, hot stuff.
Thank you. Your left tower is under attack.
Judgment is my domain. Strike is all I need.
Your left tower is slain. Killing spree. Slain an enemy.
Aw, my axe. Damn it, man. Just knocked the wrong way.
Sword, the pyro has arrived. No problem. An enemy has been slain.
You handled that heat well.
Do not fear.
Dude, I haven't backed in so long. I haven't even thought about it. No wonder it did no damage. I was like, I had so many like good axe throws there that hit multiple targets. They just didn't do any fucking damage. On a level 9 support of all things too. Let's fix that.
I'll attack.
Zip it or feel the burn.
Enemy missing right. Your right tower is under attack. Rampage.
May they be cursed.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed the pyromancer.
Slight chance they might TP behind me.
Enemy ultimate down.
Be right back. Enemy missing middle. Save yourself. Attack the cold fury. Move up.
On my way.
I will go. Turn and fight.
I'll attack. Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower. An enemy has been slain.
Stand your ground. There's no running for me. Balance is over. Let me tip the scale.
Killing spree. Shut down.
Oh well, I got a whip at least.
Destroyed the
Just needed ages to buy me enough time. Definitely still pretty low on damage, but I'm still stacking my Transcendence. Yeah, 1-for-1 and gold is definitely still worth it.
Your team has destroyed
100.
enemy tower.
Your schemes are revealed.
I mean, I think this is pretty much like a win for us either way. Like, we have Kali fed, we have Neith fed. Like, we're all fed. Like, every lane won.
Follow me.
Okay, I'll attack.
We're all just super, super fed.
Ultimate is ready.
Enemies in left lane. Do not fear.
Okay. Destroyed the fire giant.
It's all the sauce, baby.
Has been slain.
Fear.
The pyro.
There's no running for me. That's all I need. Just my domain. It's worked out for you. That's all I need.
May they be cursed.
Your team has destroyed a
I thought we could kill Vulcan much easier than that.
Be right back.
Greetings.
Unfortunate. It's another Aegis. It's fine, I'm just keeping the game going a little longer, you know?
My domain.
Well played by Neith. Still think he dies though.
An ally has
Farewell.
been slain.
Yes. Blunder.
Your team has destroyed the pyromancer. Your team has destroyed a left enemy tower. Your right tower is under attack. Your left tower is under attack. Marvelous.
Attack right on my way.
James.
Damn it, he's so fast.
An enemy has been slain. Killing. An enemy has been slain. Destroyed a right enemy tower.
Attack right tower. No worries.
Defend. Cancel that.
Destroyed a right enemy tower.
Be right back.
On my way.
On my way.
Yeah, Nibble is starting to... I actually tried it in my first day as well, I just didn't stream. When I was just playing her in casuals and trying builds, I actually did try Nibble ring and it feels really good on her. Because you really just want to build full mage. And that extra attack speed helps so much just to build up that passive.
Your team
So you can
has
explode the
destroyed
3.
the Gold Fury.
I don't know if they actually cooked with Kali or if it was just unintentional. Because she feels really good to play, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's so weird that she's magical. but she feels really, really good to play. Like, for God's sake, man, I enjoy playing her now. What happened? It was so weird in the first few days, because she just felt wrong. Because of how she plays now, she's so different.
Enemy missing right.
Enemy missing left.
Damn, Vulcan is just so out of position.
An enemy has been slain.
Enemy spotted.
Ultimate is ready.
An ally has been slain.
Attack the fire giant.
Your team has destroyed the fire giant.
It's basically like the general consensus seems to be that this should have been an aspect. Like, give us old Kali back. Like, we shouldn't remove gods like that or change them in such a drastic way that they don't feel the same at all anymore. Kind of like what they did with Raw. Like, was Raw fun as full tank? No. No, he was not. Not really.
Your right tower is under attack.
Enemies in right lane.
Damn. Kinda mistimed my ult because Vulcan should have died there. Despite him aegis-ing. Just had to be a bit later on it.
Ultimate is down.
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy Phoenix. Your right tower is under attack.
Attack left lane.
I gotta stop trolling a bit. I don't know why I'm going on the tank Vulcan. He's by far the least, I guess, smallest threat in their team. I gotta just group.
Your right tower is under attack.
Enemy spotted. Attack.
Your right tower is under attack. Your team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Enemies have returned to base.
Please accept my
Oh,
apologies.
that's a
May they be
flavor flaw.
cursed.
The Pyromancer has arrived.
Enemy missing. Save yourself.
people left.
Killing spree.
Aw, that's a flavor flaw.
Astounding.
Don't really mind the farming at the moment, just so I can
Don't worry, I can take the heat.
get more items. Be more useful in this chunk.
Fire time my way.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Fire giant.
Enemy spotted.
Enemies incoming.
Enemy spotted.
Enemy missing left. Capture that.
Turn and fight.
An ally has been slain.
My domain. There's nobody to move.
Be right back. Be careful.
Your left tower is under attack. An ally has been slain. Your left tower is under attack. Enemies incoming.
I challenge you.
Your left tower is under attack.
Can fail. Judgment is my domain.
An enemy has been slain.
I can take the heat.
Shut her down.
Don't worry, I can take the heat.
Your team has destroyed the fire giant.
Nice. I feel like I do need some, like, pen. But pen is just not great at the moment. Maybe I actually, you know what, I'm gonna try Bloodforge.
Down.
Fuck it. I I need so little gold, actually. I'm waiting for gold. Playing as circles feels terrible. Yeah, I mean, some gods have big circles, but, you know...
Your team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
It's not always great, you know? Sometimes having a very high damaging single target ability is just better. Like, when Thanatos is in the meta, his 1 is just broken, you know? That's a single target, extremely high hitting ability.
On my way.
Ward here.
Your right tower is under attack. Your right tower is under attack. Your team has destroyed a left enemy Phoenix. Killing spree. Your team has destroyed a middle enemy Phoenix. Your right Phoenix is under attack.
Never really felt like I could do much in these. Like, I just poked a lot. That was about it.
Victory.
Just poke damage. I mean, circles hexstone, I see. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, they just buffed it though. Like, it's definitely strong. I'm not really sure what they could do to it. Much during the Nika build, yeah, I think it just builds the standard Kali at this point. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that I saw April go with. April played a bunch of Kali yesterday as well. Pretty much the same. It's the double stacking into Poly, and then like Deso and Rot, basically. And then the last one I suppose you could fill, but... That's pretty much it. It's just high damaging. That's the Caliban. What is the price? Let's see. I mean, Aladdin or Bari will be open here.
Select your god.
I think I was trying to say something before, and now I forgot. I lost my thought process. Dude, my poor Q game. I finally found a Q game I really like, and now the Q has been essentially fixed. It's barely any Qs now. sun was starting to hit my screen. I had to fix it. I'll do some cuckoo. I wanted to play some cuckoo for a little while. I want to do it now. It's the benefit of first pick. Slam your pick and yeah, pretty much. Cuckookin. Is that gonna be Dutch and the Morrigan solo again? Please no. I don't want to deal with it again. Watch this radiant Kukulkan, man. No one expects it, you know? No one. I'll be ganking? No, stay away, Sav. If you do it, I have to go full tank if you do that, though. Surely you wouldn't do that, right? We're friends. Oh, actually, try me. Try me. Just don't do it at level 3, because that's just ass. Let friends kill each other. Alright. Alright, I accept. Damn, that's a golden snake. Yeah, dude, they have a really annoying comp for a Kukulkan. The only pick I would like to meet out of those is Cupid, because I can slither out of the ultimate, but that's about it. The rest I would like to stay away from me. To be fair though, Sav, I'm happy I'm not against you specifically on Thor in lane, because I would have been so fucking cooked. In this case, I actually think I have a chance, because I think I'm against the Dutch Morrigan here. So I at least can farm. This is an option. Against Thor, that wouldn't even be an option. Or a good Thor, I should say. Now here's the big question. Do I actually go Helm of Radiance this game? I don't think I can allow myself to do it early. Like too early, because I do need Book of Thoth going as fast as I can. But I'll see how the whole thing goes. We will see. Actually, no, I have a different idea. Maybe I don't do that.
Take this jungle buff.
Minions have spawned.
Different idea. Is Signet any good? Haven't seen anyone build it. Nah. So far, people haven't found a way, really found a way to use it. It just seems meh, but like, I mean, it's okay, I guess. It's just that that's just better items.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. It's a Kate. Dude. We're just playing mid now. I didn't realize he picked it up. That's why I said oops. Damn. That might be really bad for me. Of all the picks. It's twice. I just realized this happened twice today. This is the second time today that my jungler has taken my blue buff
That's a bummer.
at level 1.
A little midnight magic. Clean and precise. Midnight mischief never hurt anyone. One burst at a time.
How weird. I would like to fight actually, but without blue buff I can't spam.
Clean and precise.
And with sap potentially lurking early, I don't want to take my chances.
Burst at a time.
Ah, that's lost already. I missed everything.
Away one spell at a time.
Your right tower is under attack.
One burst at a time. Be careful.
Curses! Enemy missing! Be careful!
Damn. Should have been a kill if I just hit all my shit in the first go.
Burst at a time. That's a bummer.
An enemy has been slain.
Curses!
Yes.
Just curious if the 100 mana might synergize with a double stack.
An enemy
I think it depends on the god. Like, you probably could fit it into a build somehow, in some way, shape, or form. It's just the SO is so prominent. Like, maybe you need Divine Ruin. Like, it's just, and if you like need those two, maybe in the same build as well, there's just no space for it. It's a bit of an awkward item to try and fit in. Like, it's kind of the same thing with tank items, I feel like, right? Like, sometimes they're great tank items, or just okay tank items, but for the most part, you just don't have space for all of them. Like, I would love to have, like, Hexstone in most of my tank builds, but usually I just can't fit them in, because they're just better tank items, stat-wise.
Ward here!
On my way. Tank.
Curses!
Enemies incoming. Retreat.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been
Enemies
slain.
behind us. Be careful.
Nowhere is safe now.
Your right tower
actually TP'd without thinking, because I should have waited until my TP was back up. I thought I had my TP. Now I just lost a full wave. Didn't get a kill. Absolutely not a worth rotation.
Your right tower is under attack.
I thought I had my TP, but I'm stupid.
Your right tower is under attack. An ally has been slain. Killing spree. Your middle tower is under attack.
Damn, Dark Sasuke in mid is getting cooked.
Enemy ultimate incoming!
Ultimate is down.
Slain an enemy.
The mess will have to wait.
An enemy has been slain.
Huge need ult.
Enemy missing left.
I'm gonna back, actually.
No problem.
I should not stick around for that. I'm gonna try a weird build here. I don't want to do double stacking, which is normally what I would always do on Kukulkan. Because in the middle of this build, I will have some, like a single tank item.
Be right
Or a
back.
survivability item, I should say. Because otherwise, Thor Loki will just absolutely wreck my ass every time I do anything this game.
I'm on it. Help!
On my way.
Presumably. There's obviously potentially much bigger targets for him to go with than me in this game. Like Aladdin and Neith.
Enemy ultimate down.
Didn't expect the Thor support here.
Your right tower is under attack.
A second Thor?
An ally has been slain. Double kill. Killing spree. Shut down. Your right tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
Wings of the night, guide my aim.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Midnight mischief never hurt anyone.
On my way. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Your right tower is under attack.
damn it. Still good overall, but suddenly everyone is here.
Careful, enemy missing.
Do I still? Oh, no. I want to build some other items. I'm gonna go Hexstone just for safety. But realistically, I probably should just go Breastplate, because it still gives me power with the mana. No, I want to do Hexstone. Like, right there, I survive if I have Hexstone, you know? That's the thing.
Ultimate down!
Completed.
Your left tower is under attack.
I did lose my tower in all this madness. Which really sucks. It's gonna make me such an easy kill for Loki. So, the sooner I get Hexstone, the better.
Your left tower is under attack.
Down. Enemy missing right.
Even the genie was impressed.
I cannot hit my fucking one this game. I usually feel like I've been getting pretty consistent with it. My god, am I just not hitting it in this game? What is he building anyway? I should probably check. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't even be fighting him. He's just gonna keep healing up.
Be careful.
An enemy has been slain.
Even the genie was impressed. Sorry. Take this jungle buff.
Wait!
Okay. No problem.
Enemy missing right.
Enemy ultimate down.
Actually gonna back while I have the chance. Now I just need to remember to press my buttons.
Enemy missing right.
Falling back!
Shut down.
Attack the gold fury. Help!
Guide my aim.
Damn it, man! God damn it. Low key. That got builds. I feel like I played that decently well too. I fucked up initially because I needed to Aegis the Loki ult and I didn't get it off in time.
Fight me.
I need way more power.
I will destroy you.
Not building a whole lot of mana in this build so
Your
far.
right tower is under attack.
Okay. I'm on it.
Enemy missing right.
Be right back.
Serpent swiftness. Behind us.
Killing spree. An enemy has been slain. Your left tower is under attack. On my way. Your team has destroyed the pyromancer. Your team has destroyed a left enemy tower.
Gank. Down.
An ally has been slain.
Some other time.
You have slain an enemy.
Down.
Your middle tower is under attack. An enemy has been slain. Good job.
Be careful.
Yeah, Gatlin's ult is just so weird and easy to juke.
Your middle tower is under attack.
But it's also very like a high risk, not necessarily high risk, just easy missable ability, but that has huge potential. Yeah, she did use her ult to go below mine, yeah. Because it counts as a teleport. So even though the model might still be there a little bit, it's technically not. I believe this is... basically a full tank Hekate.
Enemy missing.
Midnight mist never hurt anyone. A little midnight magic.
I mean, this is really not something. We're two tanks, man. We ain't killing her. Two tanks ain't killing a tank.
Be careful, mentor number one. I'm on it.
An ally has been slain.
Ultimate's down.
An enemy has been slain.
Serpent swiftness.
The pyromancer has arrived. Your cannon destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Clean and precise.
Your team has destroyed a middle enemy tower.
Fire giant.
Hot gank right lane.
I'm on it.
Slain an enemy.
You did good. Fire giant.
Enemies in middle lane.
I'm on it.
Your left tower is under attack. Your team has destroyed the fire giant. Your left tower is under attack. Your team has destroyed the pyromancer.
What's behind door number one?
My build is so ass. it's It's terrible. For the people, I don't know if people actually do this, but if you're looking for me on builds and how to build stuff by looking at my stream, don't go with this one if you play Kukulkan. This ain't the one. Trust me.
I'll attack left lane.
Attack the Gold Fury. Enemy spotted.
Behind us. I'm on it. Enemy ultimate incoming. Shut down.
On my way.
Shut down. An enemy has been slain. Double kill. Killing spree.
Down. Serpent swiftness. Enemy spotted.
Completed. Okay.
Killing spree.
Enemy spotted.
Completed.
Yes.
Group up.
Ultimate is ready. Another one. I'll attack the Gold Fury.
Be careful, right? Good job. Attack left lane. I'm on it.
No, I missed.
Your team has destroyed the Gold Fury. Your left tower is under attack. Pyro has arrived. An enemy has been slain.
The mercy will have to wait.
Rampage. Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
See ya. Mwah.
Good game.
Alright. That's gonna be where I ended.
Victory.
I've had a lot of fun today. Just kind of playing whatever I felt like. Which is easier to do when you're in a game with good players than like lower elo, because sometimes when you're a high elo, like I am now, you'll just end up being the one person who needs to carry because your team is just super underleveled, or like I guess underskilled, however you want to put it, because the matchmaking is trying to even out the game. But I think it's different now though, to that. But either way, I have had fun today. This one was kind of a weird game though. Like me and Dutch were just slapping each other, but my team was just winning on the other side. Dark Sasuke definitely struggled in mid. But I really appreciate you guys stopping by as usual. I do not know when I'll stream during this this week, because there's just a lot of shit coming out that I want to play, and I think I want to protest that over streaming Smite. So maybe you'll see me in someone else's stream. You never know. Thank you for the raid, Dutch. I'm also ending. Joy Experience 33. Thanks, man. I'm really